art, comedy, pop culture, and much more. You're listening to ACPN.
Hello, young Swimcast citizens. Space Ghost here, a.k.a. George Lowe, inviting you in for all of the creamy, enjoyable listening goodness. Let's ladle some up right now, shall we?
Everybody, it's that time again. Yes, our yearly semi-annual Swimcast.
Hey, yeah, welcome back. We did one. We get that one. We filled our quota. How's everyone doing out there? Welcome to the Swimcast, Adult Swim Central's exclusive podcasting arm, brought to you by AdultSwimCentral.com and Art Comedy Pop Culture.
Yay!
Yay!
We have an important thing to talk about today.
Yeah, it's a special episode. We're joined by a special guest.
Mr. Juston Gordon-Montgomery.
From Invincible Fight Girl, coming out November 2nd at midnight. 2 episodes to start us off. And then every Saturday at midnight thereafter. Followed by the Max debut every Sunday night.
Yay! And we should point out that in order to do this interview, we were provided with the first 4 episodes. And we got instantly hooked.
They are awesome.
We are so hooked.
So yeah, let's get right into it with Juston. If you like what you're hearing, you can check out our backlog on any podcast device of choice. Or you could check us out on the web, adultswimcentral.com or acpnet.net. Hit us up for any questions or comments. If you'd like to be a contributor, if you'd like to do stuff with us, anything.
If you want to call your mom, but you don't want to talk to her because she drives you crazy, and you get your hair done and you get it purpled and blonded and it looks really good, and she's like, I don't like that. I kind of hate it. And you're like, I just paid a shitload of money for this haircut, and well, maybe I like it. But if you want to talk to somebody who's not your mom, but you get that warm fuzzy feeling from, email us.
Yep, podcasts at acpnet.net. Also, that was very specific, Trish. Anyway, here we go with the recording. Enjoy, everybody.
We really love that Andy is a female person of color, and it's so rare to see that in animation, especially like on Adult Swim. I think lately they've been doing more people of color and more women as main characters. But and so it's really cool. So what inspired you to create Andy's story?
I think a lot of her story kind of came out of my own journey in animation. And this desire to want to find a way to talk about what it's like to follow your passion, or to follow any passion or dream, and how really challenging and winding that road can be, not just for Andy, but sort of writ large for a lot of the characters in our world. And so Andy felt like a perfect, a little bit of a self-insert character, but also a way to talk about what it's like to be a young person who is embarking on that journey. And you're coming into maybe a system or an institution that has all of these established hierarchies already, and these players, and this history, and it exists already. And for you, a newcomer, it feels kind of impenetrable. It feels really hard to not only find your place, but then maybe navigate your way to the top and make your mark. Like that feels so insurmountable. So she was a perfect kind of entry point into that.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
I think for both of us, we appreciated that. I know Trish had said, well, passionate about wrestling, but then when we get to Mikey, it's like passionate about whatever you feel passionate about. And
Yeah.
I appreciated the beginning of the story where it's like Andy's into wrestling, but her parents are accountants, and you go from something
Hmm.
so awesome that's from wrestling and then accountants, and uh,
Hmm.
just really cool. Uh, did you grow up? Do you uh, watching wrestling? Do you like wrestling now earlier?
Absolutely. As a kid, I got introduced to it kind of right at that peak time in the Attitude Era, where it's Undertaker, it's The Rock when he's a heel. It's that Attitude Era, Stone Cold Steve Austin. It's this
Mm-hmm.
time where it occupies this particular place in pop culture and the social consciousness where it's like rivaling TV and movies. And me as a kid in school at the time, like you're seeing kids walk around with Steve Austin t-shirts, and you're seeing kids, shout rock quotes at each other.
Oh,
Um,
oh my God, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
I,
So and me, like I'm watching this stuff at night, when I'm supposed to have the TV off. I'm sneaking out to watch it and trying to see like what's gonna happen, with these storylines. So for me, like that love started very, very early on, and I think now I'm still a big fan of it. I don't have as much time to follow it, but so much of that love was what I wanted to imbue into this project, was for people to walk away, and if they either were familiar with wrestling already, then they could sort of feel this appreciation for it. And if they weren't familiar, then they maybe felt compelled to go check it out and kind of see like, oh, what's all this excitement about?
hmm. It's true, and I feel like wrestling kind of had that renaissance recently with everything that's been going on.
Hmm.
Uh, you think there'll be any? Yeah, because I know there's a certain company that also works with Warner Brothers. You think there'll be any AEW synergy down the road?
I would love for there to be. I've talked with lots of people on the crew about how exciting it would be to, if the show is interesting enough for wrestlers to maybe want to be involved, to approach us and like want to be voices, because we've got lots of characters who we're thinking of for that. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's something that we it would be it's already a blessing for it to have gotten to this point, but I think for
Mm-hmm.
it to have that possibility would be incredible.
Are you hoping that maybe with a female main character that maybe more women are going to get into wrestling and maybe even be inspired like Andy was inspired to maybe become a wrestler?
Sure. I think our aspirations go a little bit further beyond that, because we're kind of hoping that people take the story and think a little bit about their own passions and think about a little bit about their own dreams. And so for us, I think it's less about wanting young people or women to go into wrestling, and more about challenging people to pursue whatever that thing is that they don't feel they can do, or that they are reticent to try, because maybe they
Hmm.
haven't seen someone like them in that space.
Mm-hmm.
um, or if it's not someone pursuing something, it's someone thinking about someone in their life who is pursuing something, and
And
taking a
giving
way,
them support.
yeah, giving them support, or even having a different understanding or empathy for what that journey is like for them and how hard it can be.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
with Mikey and how his family didn't support him versus Andy
mhm.
and how her parents really supported her. I,
Yeah, absolutely. I think so much of it is, our show, I think we try not to be prescriptive and tell people necessarily what to think or what to do, but rather
Mhm.
to have them think about it and think about the fact that, your journey, maybe the thing that you're doing, your parents supported you. There might be people who are in your life who their parents didn't support them.
Mhm.
And the sort of permission to follow that dream might have to come from somewhere else. Maybe it comes from you as their friend. Maybe it comes from your community. Um, and in some cases, that might be a self-talk thing that you have to get from your inner world to give you permission to follow that dream.
I think that's really beautiful.
It really is. It's, I think that's the main message of the story, and I think a couple of characters say it. You can be whatever you want to be. If you want to be a wrestler, become a wrestler.
Yeah.
If in your case, if you want to be an animator, become an animator.
Yeah.
Going off of that, I love the animation on this.
Thank you.
It feels a lot like anime, and at the same time, general animation. Who's doing it? Is it a company or is it just an individual?
It's a company. We've got a couple companies helping us out. Titmouse does a lot
Oh
of.
my god! No wonder.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they do a. I don't know if you guys have seen episode 4, but they did all of that. And then we've got Any for You, who's helping us out with a lot of the other episodes as well. But to your point, a lot of sort of the early planning stages was trying to figure out how do we make something that feels like it's a little bit different in this Western animation space. And so much of the team, we're big fans of anime, and we look at that and we look at, obviously there's a high quality to the production there, but then they also experiment with different ways that things can move. And there's lots of people who are doing just very different things in that space that feel innovative and experimental and are just really interesting. And so for us, it was kind of our attempt at doing that at what as well as like, well, you're going to have a lot of Western shows who are going to look like a Western show and are going to move like a Western show, but maybe we can find something that'll just add a little bit of flavor, a little bit of variety in the landscape.
I understand, and it's funny because went to a convention recently, and someone was saying it feels like Western comedy and American comedy are kind of melding at this point, kind of becoming made acceptable by audiences. I did notice that it seemed like there were a lot of anime references in there. I saw Dragon Ball Z. Is Mikey a Spy Family reference? Because it feels like it.
No, but I would love to know what did you see in there?
Just the buff younger kid reminded me of a scene in Spy Family where the main character Anya is playing volleyball against this buff kid.
Oh, that's funny. No, but I'm glad that there was like an accidental synergy there. That's cool.
I have two more questions. One, this is stupid, but the other question is going to sound stupider, but are we going to see any more of M. Brandon? And by the way, I love the name M. Brandon. And is there kind of going to be like a love interest kind of thing with him?
There will definitely be more in Brandon, 100%. I would say there's already some in the rest of the season, but in terms of, longitudinally thinking, and we haven't thought as much about a love interest, but it's something that feels like it's within our realm of what we would explore.
Cool.
Definitely.
And then we have a little question we like to ask all of our guests because I'm a crazy cat lady. And I see you are also a crazy cat lady. You have some cat furniture.
Yes.
What is your favorite kind of cat and why?
I think my favorite kind of cat are sort of long hair. I think is that what they're called? The long fluffy ones with like
The Persian?
not Persian. I think it's long hairs where they're like very fluffy. Mine is not that. He's a short hair. He's actually right here. I can. Yeah. He's a short hair, so he's not.
So
But
beautiful.
yeah, I think the long, fluffy haired cats, and cats that you see sometimes if you like ever see a video of like the Irish countryside, and there's just like a cat that like hangs around and is just like in the sun, like following a farmer around as he does his life. That's also my favorite cat.
I like those answers.
Very, very cool. I'll just say November 2nd, Invincible Fight Girl.
Oh, no problem.
Watch it. It is an awesome show. Justin, thank you so much.
This has been an Adult Swim Central production.